The Calgary Police Service has charged a local woman in connection with the death of her son. In the early hours of Saturday, March the 2nd, 2013, emergency crews were called to a basement suite in the 900 block of 17th Avenue Southwest for a report of a 7-year-old boy having a seizure. The child was transported to hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Due to the boy's condition when he arrived at hospital, the service's homicide unit was called to investigate. Detectives alleged that the boy, who lived in the suite with his mother, was suffering from a treatable illness, but was not taken for medical attention despite his deteriorating condition. An autopsy later revealed that he died as a result of a strep infection, which is often treatable with medication such as penicillin. It's alleged the victim was given holistic remedies and was bedridden for up to 10 days prior to his death. After consultation with medical experts and the Crown Prosecutor's Office, police arrested the mother of the boy in connection with this death. A 44-year-old woman was arrested on today's date, Friday, November 22nd, 2013, and charges of criminal negligence causing death and failing to provide the necessaries of life are pending. As the woman has not seen a justice of the peace yet, police cannot identify her at this time. Further details will be released once formal charges are laid. Under the Criminal Code of Canada, it is a legal requirement for a parent or a guardian to provide the necessaries of life. That is defined by the courts as food, shelter, care, and medical attention, necessary to sustain life and protection from harm. I'll take your questions.
Mike, this has been a few months. What was it that, what was the information you needed to gather to get to this stage to lay charges?
As you are aware, child investigations are always complex and rely heavily on the medical aspect. And so in this case, once again, we were waiting for a lot of reports from the medical professionals, and once we received that, the investigation moved forward.
Do we know what treatment was used here? Was it homeopathy? Was it chemical treatments?
You're talking about the treatment at home,
Yeah.
rendered by the mother? The treatment rendered at home was homeopathic in nature. And without getting into specifics, this would include herbal remedies.
Who called for help on that day? Did someone call 911 from the house?
Correct. The mother called 911 in the early morning hours of March the 2nd, 2013.
And at that point, the child, I'm assuming, was unresponsive, or was he?
What I can tell you is that the 7-year-old was in full cardiac arrest, transported to the Alberta Children's Hospital.
Are there any religious aspects to this investigation in terms of religious beliefs, anything of that nature?
We have no direct information that religious beliefs factored into this, but there was a belief system in homeopathic medicine that did factor in.
Can we identify the child or the mom for the charges, or is that not allowed to identify the child?
So that information will be forthcoming once the accused goes before a justice of the peace later on today.
Later on today. So you'll be issuing another press release?
Correct.
With the name of the child?
Correct.
Was the child ever taken to a hospital or a doctor before police got, before the mother had called anyone?
We have no medical record whatsoever of that.
So no medical record in his entire 7 years? Or just in regards to this illness?
We have no medical record of that, of his entire life.
Is there any evidence that somebody else, like a friend or relative, had suggested treatment by a doctor?
So there were a number of people that had contact with the child during the period of illness, and these people did approach the mother and suggested that she do take him to see a medical professional for help.
Was there a father in this picture? Was this a single mom?
There's no father in this picture. He is estranged and has no involvement with the 7-year-old.
Just to follow up, what was the response from the mother to the suggestions?
The mother refused to take the child to a medical professional.
And the excuse was there any given?
No excuse given, just her belief system.
What should somebody hypothetically do in a situation like that? I mean, is that something where you should intervene and call authorities yourself if you have concerns? What is a citizen responsibility?
Well, I think there's a moral responsibility for us to, if we see a child in any danger, whether it be medically or otherwise, to make the phone call to police or Child Family Services or any other agency in order to notify these people that there might be a problem here. I think that's the moral responsibility.
So you said the child was 7 years old, which would put him at about grade 1 or grade 2. Was there any contact by the school system?
So the child was in grade 2 and had recently, in January of 2013, enrolled in a new school. And so had only been at that school for a short period of time, had been homeschooled prior to that. So the school really had, the school overly cooperative with us as well, had no knowledge of the child's illness.
Are these kind of cases difficult, you know, when you're consulting with the Crown on charges, just in the fact, I know you said that there's no sort of religious belief here, but even just her philosophical belief that the homeopathic remedies were best for her child, you know, are those difficult to even figure out what charges should be laid in that case?
Yeah, absolutely. Always complex investigation in relation to this. But what we have to come back to is the courts and what they've ruled previously. And so under the criminal code, it is a legal requirement for the parent, as I've already said, or guardian to provide the necessaries of life. And that includes food, shelter, care, and finally, medical attention. If you do not provide medical attention to your sick child, you will be held accountable.
I've never heard of a situation where the police have charged a parent with neglect in the use of alternative medicine in favor of conventional medicine. Is this charge precedented, or is this something that you've heard of being done before?
All I can say is that there's previous case law in the Canadian criminal justice system that would support a charge of failing to provide the necessaries of life.
Are there any other children of this in the past? Is this her only child?
There's one other child but does not live with the mother and has not.
What was her reaction finding out that she was being charged and being arrested for this? Was she surprised that legal action would be taken?
I wasn't there at the time of arrest. I understand that there was somewhat of an element of surprise.
Can you tell me a little bit more about this other child? Is it older, younger, and does it have a relative? Did it live with the dad?
Without getting into specific, it's an older sibling that does not live in the city and is, I believe, a half-brother to the victim.
So is it fair to say she doesn't have custody of the child?
Of the second child that we're referring to?
The older child?
Correct.
Knowing what you know of this case, and in the press release it says that the child was bedridden for 10 days. Knowing what you know of this case, and maybe it's a stupid question, but I mean, did this child suffer quite extensively?
As a medical professional, I personally can't answer that question. All we can tell you is that the child was bedridden, and according to people that saw the child prior to the death, that the child looked very ill.
Did the father see the child?
No.
So who were the people that were in contact with the child and suggested she get medical help for him?
I can't provide you any specifics in relation to that information, but I can tell you that friends and family did have some contact with both the victim and the mother prior to the death.
Also, do you know, was she seeing a homeopathic practitioner? Like, was she being seen by somebody who had that authority of thing?
We have no information that would lead us to believe she was seeing a homeopathic practitioner.
Was the child on autopsy, was the child otherwise healthy? Other than the illness that killed him, was everything else healthy?
I specifically can't answer that. All I can tell you what the cause of death was, and that was group A strep.
Sorry, just to clarify, did you just say that friends and family had urged the mother to seek some medical or professional attention for her son?
There were a couple of friends that did urge her in that 10 days to seek medical attention.
Okay, just want to clarify. Thank you.
But not family?
I can't answer that question.
Is that how aggravating a factor is that, despite her, she might have held on to her own beliefs or belief system, but she was given information that, is contrary that perhaps she should act differently. So how aggravating is that in this case?
We've got to come back once again to what her requirements are as a guardian of this young child. And not even guardian, but a mother of her 7-year-old. And the legal requirement is that she get medical attention through traditional Western medicine to deal with the illness. And in this case, it was a bacterial infection, which could have been easily treated with antibiotics such as penicillin.
Because was this a family that was long-term residents of the city?
Correct, yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Do you know, sorry, this is probably cornering you on this, and if you don't know it off the top, that's fine, but these sorts of charges on conviction, do you know what it could lead to? I guess criminal negligence and failing to provide necessaries, are those both on conviction jail terms?
They are.
Yeah.
They are, but in all honesty, I would have to go to the criminal code to brush up on that.
And also, is the mom being cooperative now?
The mom is cooperative.
And so far as the other people, if you can quantify, are there 4 or 5 people that are potential witnesses, or how many potential witnesses do you have who could speak to witnessing this boy?
I can't give you a specific number, but I can tell you that everybody we've spoken to in the relation to the investigation has been cooperative and provided us
Do you have a
statements.
number of witnesses as part of your?
We do, indeed.
And just following up on the question, so one of these fellows asked, so far as the aggravating kind of factors, I mean, it's one thing if a parent is sort of operating on a belief that something working in this little vacuum of ignorance, but how much more does it exacerbate things when they've got other people telling them, hey, this isn't working? So it's not just, in their little vacuum, they've got other people saying that.
So that will be up for the courts to decide.
And just one last question, any cultural beliefs have anything to do with this death of this child?
All I can say is that it was a belief system in homeopathic medicine that contributed to this death.
Should this serve as a warning to other parents?
It should absolutely serve as a warning to other parents. And the message is quite simple. If your child is sick, take them to see a doctor.
Okay, thank you very much.
One last thing, are there any of those cases in Calgary that you can think of? I've looked, but I can't find other similar ones in the past.
I'm not aware of any now. Thank you.